Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
So if you think back to like 2016, right?
Right.
The absolute biggest fear about artificial intelligence was that it was going to, just suddenly steal your job.
Oh, yeah. Completely.
But today,
Yeah.
the biggest fear is that it's actually going to literally run out of electricity before it even gets the chance to do that.
It is just such a profound shift in anxiety, like we spent all those years worrying about some rogue algorithm quietly outsmarting us from, I don't know, a laptop.
Right.
And we completely miss the fact that building this level of intelligence actually requires, literally requires rewiring the physical surface of the Earth.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we are cutting through today. We're getting past all that noise. Because if you were trying to navigate this overwhelming sea of daily AI news, well, it's a lot. Yeah. So our source for this deep dive is a very specific, incredibly revealing snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
It's the front page of the AI World Journal from June 2nd, 2026.
Right, yesterday's edition.
Exactly. And our mission here is to look at this massive, just glaring disconnect between the existential hype of AI like, robot gods and mass job extinction.
Yeah.
And contrast that with the really heavy, concrete, multi-billion-dollar reality of what this technology has actually become.
And the front page of this journal captures that tension so perfectly. The primary feature article right there is literally titled "The Myth of Mass Job Extinction in the Age of AI."
Right. And, okay, it starts off by citing this 2016 prediction from researcher Jeffrey, and then immediately, like mid-sentence, it slams right into a paywall.
Yeah, that's classic.
It's so funny. Like, to read the rest of this supposedly reassuring news about how you are going to lose your job, you have to register for a premium account and hand over your credit card.
The irony is extremely rich there. But, the subtitle of that article kind of gives away the real thesis of this entire era. It says, adaptation, not replacement.
Adaptation. Yeah, let's focus on that word for a second. Because usually, when we talk about adapting to tech, we mean, I don't know, updating our resumes or learning some new software interface.
Right, or figuring out how to write a slightly better prompt for a chatbot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But scanning through these sources, the adaptation they're talking about, it isn't happening on a screen. It's happening in, like, concrete and steel and high-voltage transmission lines.
Yeah, the software era of AI is effectively over. We are firmly in the heavy industry era now.
Yeah.
There's actually a podcast featured on the journal's homepage, and the title is "The State of AI in 2026, the Year Intelligence Became Infrastructure."
Wow.
And that framing is so crucial. Intelligence is no longer being treated as a software product. It is being built and managed essentially like a public utility.
Like plumbing or the power grid.
Exactly.
And the scale of the numbers here, backing that up, it is hard to wrap your head around. Let's look at SoftBank, right?
Okay, yeah.
They are placing an $85 billion bet in France alone. Just France.
It's staggering.
And they are planning up to 5 gigawatts of AI infrastructure. They're actually partnering directly with EDF, that's the French electric utility, to convert former power plant sites into massive data center campuses.
Mm-hmm.
They are literally building these facilities inside the husks of old power generation plants.
We really have to pause on that 5 gigawatt figure, though, because it illustrates the fundamental difference between traditional computing and AI.
Right.
Because a standard cloud data center from, say, the 2010s, it was essentially just a massive digital warehouse.
With storing stuff.
Right, it stored your emails, your photos, and most of the time those servers were just sitting idle waiting for you to request a file. But AI does not retrieve, it computes.
Right, it's constantly doing math.
Continuously. Large language models, generative systems, they require these graphics processing units running in parallel at maximum thermal capacity, literally 24 hours a day. So they aren't warehouses anymore. They are foundries. And foundries require an astronomical amount of power and cooling. 5 gigawatts, right? For one company's footprint in one country.
Yeah.
That is enough energy to power roughly 3 to 4 million homes.
Wait, really? 3 to 4 million?
Yes.
That's insane. And it's not isolated to SoftBank either. Alphabet is raising $80 billion specifically to expand their compute capacity. But, okay, let's unpack this, because the detail that really jumps off the page is who was actually backing them. Berkshire Hathaway put in a $10 billion investment.
Yes, that is a massive signal.
Right, because Berkshire Hathaway doesn't chase flashy speculative tech startups. They like old school physical value. They buy traditional, heavily moated physical assets. They buy railroads and insurance companies and power grids.
Exactly.
So doesn't this kind of prove that AI is no longer a flashy tech startup trend, but rather a heavy industrial utility?
It completely proves that it tells you exactly how the smartest money in the world views AI right now. They don't see it as a volatile software bet anymore. They view it the same way they view a municipal water facility or a freight railway.
Right.
It is foundational infrastructure. The whole era of, two brilliant coders building a world-changing algorithm in a garage, that is entirely dead.
Long gone.
The barrier to entry now requires tens of billions of dollars, vast tracts of land, and dedicated nuclear or hydroelectric power sources.
And the hardware companies are actively embracing this shift in identity too. If you look at the feed for NVIDIA here, they are launching their new Vera CPU and their DSX operating system. And they aren't even using the term data center anymore. They're officially branding them AI factories.
Yes. Factory is a very deliberate, very heavy industry term.
Yeah.
In the 20th century, a factory took raw materials like iron ore and coal and processed them into steel. NVIDIA's AI factories take raw electricity in vast data sets and they process them into cognition.
Into cognition, wow.
Right. And the early adopters buying these factories, they aren't small players. We're talking OpenAI, Anthropic, and SpaceX AI.
Okay, so think about your own electric bill for a second. We have these massive corporations building multi-billion-dollar industrial plants that consume the equivalent of a major city's power grid.
Yep.
So the obvious question here is, how does this massive drain on the global energy grid impact the everyday ratepayer, like you and me?
Well, the utilities have an interesting take on that.
Because according to the headlines from the utilities featured in the journal, they are actually arguing that these hyperscale facilities could lower your electricity bill.
Right. The utilities are leaning hard.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
Hard into a classic economies of scale argument here.
Okay.
The logic basically goes like this. Maintaining and upgrading a national power grid is incredibly expensive, right?
Okay.
So if you bring in a massive, predictable 247 energy by like a 5 gigawatt AI factory, they absorb a huge chunk of those fixed infrastructure costs. So by spreading the base load out, the unit cost of electricity theoretically drops for the average homeowner.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because I am highly skeptical of that.
It's a tough sell.
It sounds like, building a 10-lane superhighway through a neighborhood exclusively for a billionaire's private shipping fleet.
Right.
And then the city telling the residents, oh, don't worry, the toll revenue from the shipping fleet will eventually subsidize your local road repairs.
Yeah, that's exactly the dynamic.
But that only works if the shipping fleet actually stays in business.
Right.
So are utility companies just using the AI hype cycle to build massive facilities on the taxpayer's dime?
Well, the regulators are asking that exact same question. What's fascinating here is that the journal specifically notes that utility regulators are throwing up red flags left and right.
Really?
Yes. They aren't buying the infinite growth narrative. They are actively building financial protections and demanding proof of these benefits before they approve any new lines.
Because they know what happens if the bubble bursts.
Exactly. What happens if the demand for AI plateaus in 5 years? The utility has already borrowed billions to build the new substations and transmission lines to feed the AI factory.
Right.
If the tech company scales back or, goes bankrupt, that massive infrastructure becomes a stranded asset.
Oh, wow.
And historically, when a utility holds a stranded asset, that cost is just quietly passed right down to the everyday ratepayer.
Just tacked onto the bill. And looking at the stock ticker on the journal page here, it seems like the market hasn't fully internalized that risk yet. AI stocks are still up over 9%.
Oh, yeah.
Giants like Apple and Microsoft are still incredibly dominant. The capital is flowing freely into the infrastructure. But the regulators are acting like the music is about to stop.
Because the enterprise sector has to believe in infinite growth, right?
Yeah.
They need that to justify the capital expenditure.
Yeah.
But we are physically rewiring the global energy grid, assuming that everyday humans will actually want to consume this much machine intelligence. And if you look closely at the rest of the journal, the humans using these systems are hitting a severe psychological and moral bottleneck.
Which is really the most fascinating tension in this entire snapshot. We have the cold, hard reality of power plants and capital markets on one side, and then this deeply fractured, very messy human reaction on the other side. So under the news and trends section, there's a report that Anthropic has filed for a massive IPO.
Right.
But right next to that, there's a headline from NDTV where veteran investors are quoted saying Anthropic thinks it's creating a god.
I mean, it is just jarring to see standard financial mechanisms like an initial public offering being discussed using literal theology. But it highlights a massive societal shift. We are frantically trying to find a moral framework for something that fundamentally disrupts human agency.
And it isn't just like investors using colorful religious metaphors for shock value either. Actual global religious institutions are deeply entrenched in this now.
Oh, completely.
Like the Irish Times highlights an Irish priest working behind the scenes on the Vatican's AI strategy. The Wall Street Journal has this huge feature on the Pope's personal take on artificial intelligence.
Yep.
And The Atlantic is running pieces on the deep moral failures of AI, while the National Review has an op-ed titled Pope Leo versus the LinkedIn Hollow Man.
It's everywhere. And regardless of anyone's personal beliefs, we have to look at why these specific institutions are getting involved right now.
So what does this all mean then?
Well, religion and moral philosophy have historically been the domains where humanity processes the concept of ultimate judgment and truth. When you introduce a machine that can synthesize information, make highly consequential decisions, and basically mimic human reasoning, you cross a threshold. It is no longer just a calculator. You are outsourcing judgment. And outsourcing judgment creates a profound spiritual and moral anxiety.
That makes a lot of sense. And I mean, Forbes notes that AI is positioned to disrupt a $5 trillion industry and that consumers are desperately demanding transparency.
Yeah.
But the headline that totally stopped me in my tracks, it was from the Financial Times. It says, more harmful than helpful. Young people sour on AI.
That's a huge shift.
Right. Because we always just assume that younger generations will seamlessly adopt new tech. They did it with smartphones. They do it with social media. Why are they rejecting this?
Because the friction of cognitive outsourcing is entirely different from the friction of communication.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, a smartphone connects you to a friend. Social media connects you to a network. But AI does the thinking for you, and when you stop exercising a muscle, it atrophies.
It weakens.
Exactly.
And there is a study featured in The Hill right below that FT piece that proves exactly that. It warns that using AI for just minutes fundamentally reduces human focus and persistence. Just minutes.
Mechanically, it makes perfect sense, though. If you are a student or a young professional and you encounter a difficult problem struggling with, it builds cognitive endurance.
Right, you learn by doing the hard work.
Right. But if an AI gives you a highly synthesized, perfectly formatted answer in 2 seconds, you lose the persistence required to wrestle with complex thoughts.
Oh, wow.
And then, when the AI inevitably hallucinates or provides a slightly flawed output, you lack the mental stamina to actually fix it. You just feel exhausted.
So we have this incredible bifurcation. On the enterprise side, we are building 5-gigawatt factories, these machines, with essentially infinite computational persistence.
Yes.
But on the human side, the people interfacing with these machines are losing their focus in mere minutes. Tech companies are filing for IPOs and being accused of playing God, while young people are actively souring on the tech.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that gap explains all those headlines about the automation of trust.
Oh, right.
Enterprise companies desperately want this plug-and-play intelligence. They want to integrate these models into every workflow, every supply chain, every customer service interaction.
Just automate everything.
Right. But you cannot force a human being to trust an output. If a system makes a user feel cognitively hollowed out, or if it triggers a sense of moral failure, they will reject it. It doesn't matter how much compute power went into generating it.
It's like we built the most powerful high-performance engine in human history, dropped it into a chassis, and never even bothered to check if the human nervous system could actually survive the G-force.
That is exactly it. The bottleneck is no longer the hardware.
Yeah.
NVIDIA solved the hardware. SoftBank is solving the energy.
Yeah.
The bottleneck is the human mind.
Bringing this full circle for you, the listener, the AI narrative of 2026 is vastly different than the sci-fi scenarios we all imagined a decade ago. It isn't a story about a sentient robot walking into your office and handing you a pink slip,
No, not at all.
as that paywalled article suggested. It's about adaptation.
But it is a brutal, heavy industrial adaptation. We are terraforming our infrastructure to feed an incredibly power-hungry technology.
We are taking over French power plants. We are drawing billions from value investors who treat this like a municipal utility. We are risking the stability of the global energy grid.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, everyday society is actively revolting against the psychological toll of it all. We are seeing a massive loss of personal focus. Young people are souring on the very tools meant to optimize their lives. Global moral authorities are stepping in to put guardrails on companies that investors claim are trying to build a god.
It is just an unsustainable tension. You cannot have infinite physical infrastructure expansion relying on a user base that is experiencing severe cognitive fatigue.
Which leaves us with a critical, really lingering question to explore on your own the next time you see an announcement for a new multi-billion-dollar data center.
Right.
We know utility regulators are secretly terrified this boom might stall out.
Yeah.
They are demanding proof that these facilities won't bankrupt the grid.
They are absolutely preparing for the demand to plateau.
So what happens if this hype cycle pops? What if the moral backlash and the young people souring on the tech and the total loss of human focus mean that society simply refuses to consume the amount of intelligence these companies are manufacturing?
It's a real possibility.
What happens to those massive 5-gigawatt AI factories built on top of old power plants? Will the defining legacy of this era be a landscape of abandoned hyperscale monuments?
Wow.
50 years from now, will these multi-billion-dollar compute centers just become the rusting, empty factories of the 21st century?
Just a permanent physical footprint of the time we tried to automate human trust and, well, ran out of power.
It definitely makes you look at that overwhelming sea of daily AI news differently. Thanks for taking the deep dive with us.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.